this. Because he's rich, that I know if I go to him, it would bring disgrace to your name, and I claim to be a Christian. I said, I wish you would make a way for me to go to him so I wouldn't have to bring shame to your name in the process. I prayed to God about that all the time. I said, I love this man so much that even if he didn't have any money, and he decided to go to the mission field, I'd go to the mission field with him. I said, that's the kind of a man I'd want to go to the mission field with, not the one I've got now. I told God, because with a man like that, I know I'd have a strong marriage. Oh, I forgot to mention something about the teleplay that I wrote, the Star Trek The Next Generation teleplay Law. That was the name of it. Even though it made print, the fanzine that printed it was what I would call, she did not claim to be she mentioned many times, because she allowed a lot of writers to publish their works in her fanzine who were definitely not writing at professional level. And so for my teleplay to make print in that magazine was not really a break in writing to me. The only reason I allowed it to make print is because I wanted the world to see my work, because I was proud of it, and I didn't think that anybody else would publish it, simply because it was a teleplay. And at that time, I didn't have good prose writing skills, and I had to do a little bit extra work to try to transform my teleplay somewhat into prose. I was having some difficulty with that because I was a very new writer, and I didn't really have good prose writing skills. And she asked me to try to transform it a little bit into prose, and I did the best I could at the time. But the payment for the teleplay to be printed, and that was that I would get a couple of free subscriptions to data entries, which was like $5. So I didn't make any money. I didn't make any money from it making print and data entries. The only reason I allowed it to make print is because I thought it was a shame that I worked so hard on it and nobody could read it. And so she printed it in 2 installments, and I noticed she waited quite a while before it made print. Maybe Paramount Studios contacted her, or she contacted them, or I don't know. But the funny thing is that when it did make print, which was, I believe, September of 93 was the first installment, the same issue that my first installment made print of, I was reading in the letter of comments section. And I believe that's the first time that I suspected that Brent might have another woman in his life. But I didn't. There was a letter in the letter of comments section. I used to always love to read the letter of comments section because Brent would often go out to the Star Trek conventions and meet with the fans, and it was interesting to me to find out what he was doing, because he never talked to me that much. He just gave me wrong numbers or had his friends call, and he was very creative and witty, but he never really talked to me that much. Mostly I talked to him like the way I'm doing right now, or I wrote him letters every day. But he never really talked to me that much. So I like to read data entries. This was one of several fanzines out there, because his fans who'd met him at a convention or whatever would talk about what they thought Brent was up to, because he didn't really talk to me that much. And anyways, I'd found out that he'd gone to a convention in Houston. I tried to keep up with everything about him. I wanted to know all about him, because he didn't really talk to me that much. And I'd read in this letter of comments, one of his fans, he had gone to a convention. No, I think it was San Antonio. Yes, San Antonio. And in this letter of comment, they mentioned that he was at the San Antonio convention, and his mother was there along with his family. And then I remember very distinctly, the letter writer said, "And who's that cute blonde that was with him?" I thought, yeah. And they would put question marks after it, after that question. Looking back, the way I reacted to that was I was thinking, he's with some cute blonde woman who's going with him to conventions? And I thought, that's strange. I figured, well, he was still giving me lots of attention. And, this was in set 93. The only difference is after September 92, when he gave me the 3 weeks of silence, he no longer called me on holidays. That it stopped. I remember that. I thought, that's strange. I mean, like when Christmas or Thanksgiving rolled around, he would never call me on a holiday. I'd usually get silence on a holiday. And I thought that was kind of strange. I didn't know what to make of that, because before September 92, he always called me on holidays. I mean, it was like he was saying, Merry Christmas, or Happy whatever, Happy birthday. In fact, if I remember correctly, on September 15th, 1991, I believe he did call me on my birthday. Yeah, he did. So, one thing that changed after September 92 is whenever there was a major holiday, I always got the silent treatment. And because I'm not the kind of woman who makes a big deal about holidays, it didn't affect me in the least. I just thought I noticed that there was a change in policy, though. And, but he was so attentive to me in every other way, so I didn't make a big deal over it. Well, back to data entries. Melody Rondeau prided herself on publishing the works of beginning writers, and a lot of times when she published the works, the readers would criticize that she was publishing amateurish works, and that she shouldn't let these people make print because their writing was way below professional level, which was the truth. Because I had read something like a teleplay. It wasn't quite a teleplay. It was a short story with data in it, with the character of data in it earlier, and it was definitely not professional level. So for me to make print in this fanzine really didn't do much to advance my writing career. And I mainly allowed my story to make print because I was proud of it. And I didn't think that anybody else would publish it, simply because of the strict copyright laws that Paramount had around their characters. They had a deal with the fanzines. The fanzines were allowed to publish Star Trek stories because that was not considered a violation of copyright laws, because the writers didn't make any money. Because they didn't make any money if their story made print in a fanzine. So it didn't really advance my writing career at all for my story to make print in that fanzine. The only reason I allowed it to make print in the fanzine was because I wanted the public to read it, because I worked hard on it. And let's get, Data Entries was the only fanzine that I subscribed to. There were several others out there, but I liked Data Entries because I liked Melody Rondeau. I got to know her